Right.
So I will change it on my screen. Sorry, I kind of took care of something real quick before logging in.
Hey, no worries. We are so glad to have you and two other guests today. Two maybe brand new guests and one returning guest. And we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Meridian Toastmasters. My name is Brandy Era Miller. I'm the treasurer for our club. You can't really see my name tag, but it says I'm the treasurer. And I am also the Area 56 director, which means I help communicate between our international part of our group of Toastmasters and four local clubs, including my home club here, which is Meridian Toastmasters. And you probably saw on the website or however you found us that we meet every Thursday from noon to 1 roughly, technically 12
Oh,
or
five.
12:05 to 12:55. We try to do that so folks can fit us in on their lunch breaks. So what we'll do today, especially since we have guests, is we'll make sure that we get all of our roles explained and just how a Toastmasters meeting goes. If you had a chance to go on our website at all, we have an agenda, but I don't know if you probably don't have access to it today unless you went on the website. That's probably something we should work on is try to figure out how to get
Share
guests
screen.
get a share screen and like have maybe have the agenda and part of the that's something that we'll put in the parking lot for now to make sure that our guests can see what our agenda is. So with before I get started though, Buffy, are you ready to have a joke?
I am ready.
Okay, we're going to ask Buffy to come up and give us our joke of the day or jokes of the day as today's joke master. Buffy.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Ooh, I got to say it. All right. The rabbit and the carrot were lifelong friends. They were walking along one day, and a car jumped the curb and ran down the carrot. An ambulance took the carrot to the hospital where he was rushed into surgery. The rabbit paced the waiting room for hours. Eventually, the doctor came out and said, Mr. Rabbit, I've got good news and bad news about your friend. What's the good news? He survived the surgery. And the bad news? He's going to be a vegetable for the rest of his life.
That was a good one.
One more. A
Okay.
dog walks into a saloon. He's got a bandage on his foot. He says, I'm looking for the man who shot my paw.
Woo!
Madam Toastmaster,
That.
return
Yes.
this to you.
Buffy, I think you found a new role that you excel in our club today.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Our next set of order is to go ahead and introduce the roles for the meeting today. So I'm going to ask Justin Bellis to come up to the lectern and introduce what the Table Topics Master does. Justin.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. As a table topics master, I am going to choose a random topic out of the blue and ask for volunteers to give a 1 to 2 minute speech on that topic as an impromptu speech. And those are very helpful because you don't have time to prepare for it. And that's basically how life is. You just get asked a question and you have to answer. And you don't have to answer honestly if something you're uncomfortable about. You can deviate, which is part of the skill of this impromptu. But I won't get political or religious.
Although we do get deep sometimes on our table topics.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if we have a little container that we take random questions out of. And sometimes those are pretty like deep questions like, what, how do you think the universe started or
What is heaven?
what is heaven? Yeah. And then some of them are like, what was your vacation like last year? So they can be really challenging, but it's also a lot of fun. Next, I'm going to ask Robin Lee to come up to the lectern and explain to us what the general evaluator does. Robin Lee.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. It is so fun to be here in person. As the general evaluator, I evaluate the overall flow of the meeting, how it went, and I also give some tips to the evaluators so that they can become better evaluators. Since we're doing a round robin evaluation today, I'll see how that goes. I'll just roll it all into my general evaluation.
Wonderful.
Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Great. Thank you, Robin. Next, I'm going to ask Buffy to come back up to the lectern again and explain to us what the timer does.
Thank you. Got it written down anywhere. Now, we'll make it up as we go along. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. All right, the timer times the speeches and some of the other activities as well. So for our speech today, it's a 5 to 7 minute speech. So at 5 minutes, the timer waves the green card. At 6 minutes, the timer waves the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, the timer waves the red card. And the speaker at that point has 30 seconds to conclude their speech. After that, all hell breaks loose. I don't know. I'll probably find out when it's my turn to give a talk. The table topics are 1 to 2 minutes, so it's 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and evaluations are 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, other way around. 1 minute, 1.5 minutes.
No, 2 minutes, 2.5, and 3 minutes for the evaluation.
Oh, okay. 2, 2.5, and 3. You guys get the gist of this. I think that's it. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Here's your agenda, Buffy.
Oh, thank you.
Whoop. And last but not least, I'm going to ask Kim Chen to come up to the lectern and explain to us what the grammarian does.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests in Zoom land. My role as the grammarian is to listen to words that distract throughout the meeting, such as ands, uhs, lots of ums. We all do that. I do quite a bit as myself, which is why I probably picked the role, because then I don't have to record myself. But also part of the grammarian role is to track down and write down good word usages that we all speak during the different portion of our meeting today. And then I'll report it also at the end of the meeting when the general evaluator calls up for the reports. So look for that. Also, as the grammarian role, I will provide a word of the day. So those in Zoom land, if you have pencil ready, the word of the day is adulation. ADULATION. Wow. Adulation.
Adulation.
It's a noun that refers to extreme or excessive admiration, flattery, or praise. As an example for a sentence, I have a lot of adulation for Brandy whenever she comes up and performs her Toastmaster role. Again, the word of the day is adulation. If you use it during a speaking portion throughout the day, I will record it, mark it, and we can all give you a
high five,
praise, and anything else. That is my role as a grammarian. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kim. I too have a lot of adulation for Kim as a Toastmaster and all the various roles that Kim does as part of our Meridian Toastmasters. So thank you for that, Kim. Now, with all of our roles introduced, we're going to move into the portion of our meeting where the speakers get a chance to give a speech. And we can have up to 2 speeches for any given meeting. Today we have 1. And what's special about today's speech is Robin is going to be giving the speech that she will be later on in a few weeks be giving at our area contest. So this is really exciting. For her evaluation, typically one person would come up, introduce her, and then later in the meeting, give an evaluation of her speech to help her find things that she can work on and praise her for all the things that she did well. It's how we do a lot of that here at Toastmasters. We lift each other up and we give each other helpful points to help us become better speakers. So today she'll be doing that. And for her evaluation, we will be doing what we call a round robin evaluation. So we'll all be giving her some tips to help her improve her speech. So with that, I will be introducing Robin. Now, Robin, remind me, it's the name of your speech. No, it's your
My
name.
name of
I always
speech,
get that
name of
backwards.
speech, my name.
Okay. And the name of your speech is
Throw perfection.
Throw Perfection Out the Window. Okay. So it's Robin Lee. All right. All right. I'm going to get all fancy and perfect here. Okay. Robin Lee, throw perfection out the window. Throw perfection out the window, Robin Lee.
Throw perfection out the window. Are you a perfectionist? I have been pretty much my whole life. So when I started Toastmasters, I wrote out every speech word for word and I memorized it. I spent hours, sometimes until 2 o'clock in the morning, memorizing that speech, giving it to myself in the mirror so I could see what it looked like. And then I would get here, I would deliver my speech, and my evaluator would often say, Robin, it would be really great if you added this and this. I'm like, well, it was in the speech, but it didn't get in the speech. Now, with the 6th speech, I believe it was, I decided to start working from an outline. And what happened? My ahs and ums went through the roof. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? I want to be a health coach. I want to give health workshops. What am I going to do trying to memorize a whole half hour or an hour speech? And then what if somebody asks me a question and it throws me off my script entirely? How I decided to handle this dilemma was I decided to take every last minute available speech. What that meant, since our club is on a Thursday, if it was still available on a Sunday, I would take a speech. And after several months of that, then I would wait until Tuesday to take the speech. And then Wednesday night, I would take the speech. And finally, I would take the speech on Thursday morning. I would be asking people, anybody want that speech? But if it was available on Thursday morning, I would take that speech. And one of the things this has helped me with is I am comfortable anytime there is a speech available, whether it's at this club or one of my clubs that I was an area director for. I've been an area director at least 3 or 4 times. And I would go into clubs that would rarely have speakers. And I wound up being able to give impromptu speeches in those clubs. This very speech, Throw Perfection Out the Window, became one of my most requested speeches, even being requested by clubs that had heard I would do this speech. And when I would go in, invariably, when I would finish with the speech, people who were sitting there in the club, they would sheepishly raise their hand at the end of, or when it was time for them to sign up for roles, they would raise their hand. Okay, I've been sitting on a speech for 2 months. I'll do a speech next week. So this speech is one of my favorite things to inspire people because you don't have to have it perfect. And I see the eyes roll. So one of my things, and I'm trying to decide, will I do this in competition? One of the things that I did was to throw mail all over the floor. I started doing this when I was preparing for the speech contest that we were going to have in the prison at Stafford Creek. And I knew these guys were good. And so I needed to up my game. And at that time, one of the things that I always got from my evaluator is you need to use the stage more, because I would stay in one place. And so what I decided to do is I throw mail all over the stage, and my job was to go and hit those points. And today I was like, am I going to do that? I don't have mail with me. But then I'm like, I can use the stage without the prop. So I have a choice as we grow as Toastmasters and as we throw perfection out the window. You might have noticed I am way more expressive today than I have ever been. So it's all about playing when you're up here. And I really like one of Lance Miller's quotes. He is the one, he won international public speaker in, I believe 2005. And he says it's all about stage time. So when I decided to take every last minute available speech, then I was getting in the stage time and being able to practice about topics that I care about. So I want to invite you to play around with your stage time, but also play around in your life. Because once I got good at throwing perfection out the window in my speeches, then I'm attempting to throw perfection out the window in the rest of the areas of my life where I still get pretty stuck, which tends to be emails and calling people that I should be talking to for sales and growing my business. But if we can play with these areas of our life that can be challenging for us, then, and have some fun with it, then we can all grow as people and as a planet. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Robin. I could listen to that speech every week. You're getting lots of claps out there in Zoom land. That speech has been so inspiring to me. That and the idea of stage time and learning that from you has always helped me to kind of push myself a little bit. It's that voice that's like, you know what, just get out there, just do it. It's all about stage time, and you just got to throw perfection out the window. And I have to agree with all of that. So thank you so much, Robin. Next, do we want to go right into table topics? Do you think? Or do we want to do round robin evaluations?
Why don't we do the round robin first, and then we'll use all the available time for
Table topics? Okay, give everybody a chance to throw perfection out the window. Okay, let's see here. 12:40. So I'm just doing some math in my head. 12:40 is when we want to be to the general evaluator. So why don't we take until 12:30, 12:32 or so to do some round robin evaluation. Okay, let's do that. Does anybody want to go first with some feedback for Robin?
You want to start about here?
I'm willing to start.
Okay, great. Thank you, Buffy.
Do I need to stand there, or can I just stand here, or does it matter?
I think as long as the folks out there can see you, I think you could stand there.
I'll stand up here.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin. Again, it's inspiring and delightful to watch the evolution of this speech. This is probably the third or fourth time I've seen it. And as you said, you're growing immensely. I felt looked at a lot. So I felt like I was being spoken to, which may or may not work for a lot of people. I know, because we are dear friends, it's comfortable, but I invite you to make sure you're looking at the whole audience. That's the biggest piece of feedback I've got. Other than that, yes, throwing perfection out the window. Yeah, that's all I have.
All right. Kim? Mhm.
Run that way. Robin, a lot of adulations for always stepping up here, doing so many speeches, throwing perfection out the window. Again, like what Buffy is saying, have said, I've heard you multiple times give that presentation. It's gotten better and better. There is what I notice is the less break in your transition, which I always appreciate. The other thing that was always fun for me to do is see is that you move the lectern and you actually do, and it makes me question as someone who have, if I wasn't seeing you for the first time, think doing all that stuff. Well, later on you get to find out that you need the space that you're talking about. So tying that together was great. I appreciate that. There's other things that I want to highlight, but I think I'm going to give that to all the other folks here because then there was time for more feedback. The one thing I did notice, it's I liked in the beginning, which is your vocal voice. It came out, and I was like, oh, I'm excited. It's getting my heartbeat up a little bit. But somewhere around the minute or and a half mark, I think as I'm stuttering here, my grammarian, I think what I noticed that came apparent to me is somehow your voice kind of reduced a little bit. And I don't know if you can keep that excitement going a little bit longer because it is an exciting topic and an exciting speech. And that's the only one feedback I have is somehow have it in the back of my mind that how can I be more, your tone seemed reduced to me. And that's the one feedback I would give. And that is all I have for my feedback. And I'll turn it back over to the next evaluator.
Good speech, Robin. And I'm going to start like I usually do, the things to work on first and the good last. And for the guests, Robin is an advanced speaker looking to go to a speech contest. So it may sound a little more harsh than you might give to the average person. So the bad, I noticed the things to work on, not the bad. This is good. It was good. Things to work on to improve as a moving forward in the next speech contest level. One word usage that you tend to use that stumbles me a little bit is wound up. You'll say I wound up doing this. Maybe use end up, or somehow change that from wound up. But might just be my thoughts on that. And then I think Kim alluded to this when you got to a certain point in your speech, specifically when it was time to sign up for roles, you stumbled a little bit, and then your energy dropped out. Right when you were talking about the mail, you threw the mail down. And it seems like from that point on, the speech just lost a little bit of that energy. Towards the end, it picked up again. And also, again, for like a speech contest, as far as looking presentable, the lanyard that I'm not sure what that is, but if possible, cover it up with something just so it's not there as a professional, just more of a professional look. Like if you're going to a speech contest, presume you have to have it, but if there's a way to cover it, maybe just so it's not there as a distraction of some sort. That's all I had for things to work on, but it was a good message. I felt like it's very applicable for many, especially sometimes we're a smaller group. So it is encouraging to hear ways to just come up and do it, throw perfection out the window. It's a good point. That's how you work on your skills. Nobody here is harsh or you're not going to get an F. We're all here to help each other, build each other up. So it's good to hear just that encouragement. You can throw it out the window, come up here, do the best you can. Nobody's looking down on you for that because we're here to help each other get better. And that's how you get better. Sometimes you just jump up and do it. That's why we do the table topics. You just randomly speak. Also, let's see, you gave some good examples, very applicable examples. The male on the floor was a great example. Just try to aim for him. So that was a very helpful visual that you gave us. You had a good vocal variety. You moved the lectern over here. I do want to mention, since the lectern was here, you avoided this side, actually, now that I think of it. So maybe, I think you were more over here moving. So that might help. That just came to my mind, so. But yeah, it was very good. And you had good word usage. Lots of good movement and overall a good speech and very applicable. Thank you.
You want to see if any of the guests want to contribute?
Sure. Yeah. Want me to go and then I'll go and then we'll see if other folks.
Either way.
Okay. All right. Since I'm already up here. I'll make it quick though. What I wanted to say about your speech was I love it. I think that it is really good. Lots of energy in the beginning, lots of energy in the end. Like other folks said, you could bring it up a little bit in the middle, but the beginning and the ending are so important. And you had a really good take-home message. I love the idea of playing with these areas of our life, making it fun. Just that concept. Play with it. Instead of like being afraid of it, just play with it. And then don't be afraid of it. I think that's really powerful. One thing I think that could improve the beginning is, since I have heard this speech a couple of times now, you explained that, well, those points were in the speech. They just didn't make it into the speech. And I think explaining that a little bit more, because I think another time I heard you give the speech, you explained it a little more thoroughly, and that you said that it had been in the speech that you had written down word for word. But when you put that aside and then just went for the outline, then some of those things didn't make it in the speech because you weren't following it word for word. And that does happen, but that's okay. There comes a point in all of our futures as we get better at speaking where we're able to hit on all those points. And sometimes we still miss a point or two, but that's okay, because I think what comes out in the end is a better speech if we're not following word for word. And then this is just an idea. You don't have to take it, but I know that sometimes props give you some extra points. Isn't that true? Or do they not do that anymore?
That's why
The lectern was
like I
prop.
was supposed to do and crumpling up and throwing it out the window. I completely forgot that part, but that's why I put the lectern because it had my paper and my pen. So I just forgot.
Then I don't have to give you any ideas about props, because my idea was going to be, why don't you just take some mail and chuck it in a couple of the corners, and then people be like, what's she doing that for? But I think throwing that out the window is way better. I think that's going to make a really good point in the beginning. So good. Yay. So that's
Got to remember to do it. That's what this was set for.
That's all I've got then. Folks out in Zoom land, Andrew, Yasmin, Cedra, did you have anything that you wanted to suggest for Robin?
Yeah, real quick. Well, I feel that I don't have enough, I guess, experience with Toastmasters to give any like constructive criticism. But I did like one thing that stuck in my head was how and I when I hear a little while, so I like the fact that she doesn't use like at least I didn't pick up any like filler words like pauses, and which I wish, that's where I want to kind of get to the point myself eventually. So I thought that was really great. And she does have really good energy, and um definitely that charismatic kind of attention. So that's kind of one of those words, when people are charismatic, I don't know how to really but you know it when you see it. So I thought that was really great. She commanded, I think, the audience, at least I felt that way. So that was um, that's all I wanted. So,
Oh,
Your audio just disappeared, Andrew.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear
just
you.
Sorry.
that last sentence.
Did you hear anything?
Yeah, you
Oh,
just faded out right at the
oh,
end.
toward the so no, I just wanted to share that. I thought that was great, and I'm looking forward to actually being there with all of you. So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you. Either of you want to share?
I can go next. I
Okay.
am by no means a subject matter expert when it comes to public speaking, but I thought it was very interesting. You definitely had my attention. And I did like the pauses in between your transitions because it kind of like made me feel like, okay, what is she gonna say next? So I was even like more focused on what you were saying. There was like one part where I don't know if my audio was just a little rough at that point. I got a little confused when you were talking about like a group of people raising their hand. Um, I'm not sure. It got kind of lost there, but it could have very well been my audio. Otherwise, I think it was great. Like I said, it really caught my attention. Oh, especially the part about the mail too. It really gave me like a visual of what you meant, and I thought it was entertaining. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Great. Thank you. Deidre, did you have anything to add? No pressure.
Yeah, just nothing too much that hasn't already been said. I enjoyed it. That was amazing. I felt like it was a TED Talk when you moved the podium aside and you got out there in the rise and the ways. It just, I was like, wow, that's really good. So I was just impressed. And yeah, the same thing that Yasmin said, kind of like the pauses in your speech. It made me want to hear more. So that's all I wanted to share.
Great. All right. Thank you, everyone. And that's a big compliment, Robin. You just got compared to a TED Talk. Take it.
Yeah.
And appreciate the feedback. Well, we have time for a couple of table topics. So, Justin, want to come on up here?
Absolutely.
Be our table topics master.
I like it. I will say thank you for your feedback, guests. Some of my, I guess maybe more honest feedback, I don't know, has come from guests because they have a different point of view. They just showed up. This is the first time they've ever seen us. So I feel like that's really good feedback to get. Like these guys, they know how I am. They know my mannerism. We just see things more from not a brand new perspective as we know each other. So we do appreciate that. I'm sure Robin does, but I have also from guests that's how somebody brand new sees me versus somebody who we've known each other for a little bit of time. So thank you for your feedback. And with that, I have a table topic. Any volunteers, or should I go around the room?
We've only got room for a couple. Time for a couple.
I'll volunteer.
Oh.
I'm going to throw something at you here. I want your prediction. I'm going to be a prophet.
All right.
Or do you think the cold weather going on in the South United States is going to make it to us? Or do you think our weather is going to be nice and warm like it has been?
Are those my only two choices?
Go wherever you want with it.
Wherever I want with it. All right. Thank you, Justin. I think it's a mistake to try to attribute anything in the weather world to anything that happened yesterday. I think the newness of the world we live in, the way we have changed the environment is not going to be something we know anything about. We grew up, most of us grew up, well, we all did grow up at some level or other, in a world that was pretty benign. It was pretty dependable. You knew on the 4th of July, at least here, it was going to rain. You knew after that it was going to be sunny until sometime in mid-October, and that's a good time to do a wedding. I forgot to have somebody timing, Robin's timing me, thank you. Why I needed to say that, I don't know. I will, that dependability, that trust that the weather was gonna just do what it always has done, it's out the window. I see the polar ice caps no longer can hang on to that cold the way they used to. And so it just flops all over up there right now. It's flopping down into the south, and we're up here going, ooh, maybe the crocuses are gonna have a chance. And then who knows? Maybe it'll flop back this way, and when it comes back from the east, it's like it's kind of destructive when it comes from that direction. So that's just say hang on to your hats, make sure your roof is bolted really firmly to the building, and always carry your umbrella. With that, I'm complete.
Thank you. You're very welcome. All right, I'll bring my umbrella.
Rellies and wellies.
The other volunteers?
Thank you.
I'll do that.
Oh, okay.
Do we have a guest? Oh, yeah. How about,
Well, you can, oh yeah, just ask.
what was your, I'm sorry, I missed your name.
Yasmin?
Yasmin,
She might, I don't know if
Hi.
she was.
did you want to take a shot at an impromptu question?
Sure, I'll take a shot. A little nervous, so bear with me.
So can you see these?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So then it's just 1 to 2 minutes if is an effort attempt full time, yeah.
And you can twist the conversation in any direction you want after the question is asked.
Oh, okay.
And you can lie. You don't have to tell the truth.
Okay. Good to know.
Storytelling, not lying.
Your moral.
He's
Let's
looking
see,
for a
I'm
question.
looking at,
Give me an easy one.
how old would you be if you didn't know how old you are?
How old would I be if I didn't know how old I am? Okay. If I didn't know how old I am, I would predict that I am 85 years old. There is nothing too exciting to what I do on a daily basis. I like to stay home. I took on knitting as a hobby. Uh, I like to watch Netflix and documentaries, and I like to listen to podcasts, particularly true crime podcasts, which I feel like is a very much older age type of hobby or thing you like to do. Let's see. Why do I think I would be 85? Uh, I like to make grandma meals. I eat soup for every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snack as well. Uh, I also like to make little knitted hats for my gnomes. I have 10 of them, and they all have names. I think that is a very grandma thing to do, which explains my age of 85. I also have 15 cats. My favorite cat, its name is Milo, and I also make them little hats. And yeah, that is all that I have. I don't know where I went with that.
That is great. Being 85 sounds fun, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like, what's wrong with that?
Now I feel like I was being kind of mean because I feel like I was like saying that only old people have cats and gnomes and knit.
That's good. Do we have time for more? Or?
As much fun as that if we're having, I think we probably should
Okay.
move on.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll pass it on.
Great. Thank you so much, Justin. Yeah. We have fun with table topics. We will have more time at another meeting. So you'll have to come back and do more table topics with us. Just have to say really quick though, the visual of little knitted hats on gnomes and knitted hats on cats is so sweet. And I just am going to be thinking about that for the rest of the day. So thank you, Yasmin. All right. Now I'm going to bring up our general evaluator, Buffy, or Robin, excuse me. Buffy's done it like
Panic! I wasn't paying attention.
You're like, oh no. All right, Robin, thank you so much.
2 minutes?
2 to 3.
Okay, thank you.
Well, this has been a fabulous Toastmasters meeting as ever. As the president, I have been mostly not here ever since my presidency came on, so that I'm wanting to prepare for the Toastmasters contest is why I wound up arranging to be here today. And I'm so glad I did, because it's very fun coming in person, and to see 3 guests is amazing. And so, and I wanted to thank you all for participating in our round robin evaluation. It's something that it's not something we do very often. It's mostly done when we are preparing for contests, or if somebody has a particular talk they're needing to do for work or something, then they might request a round robin evaluation so they can get feedback from a lot of different people's and their perspectives. But I was very impressed that you all went after the people who have been in Toastmasters for a while and that you all came up with unique things to say. And so it is one of the things that I really enjoy about hearing from new people and guests is because you bring a fresh perspective. So I definitely love that you all participated, and it always makes for a great Toastmaster speech when everyone present gets to be involved. So just wanted to share that. And I think the meeting has flowed very well. We were set up in really, what do you call it? We were set up on time, I believe, and so everything flowed really well today. And what else do I have to say? I was very impressed at the, this is second time we've done round robin for my contest speech, and I like that I get different feedback every time. And with that, I will call for our reports. I will call for Buffy and the timer report first.
Thank you, Madam President. Our Robin Lee, our guest speaker today, our speaker was 5 minutes and 51 seconds. The first table topics, myself, was 1 minute and 36 seconds, and then Yasmin was 1 minute 40 seconds. Well done. And you, I very carefully didn't push the start button until you were most of the way through thanking everybody for coming. But I'd say you were probably around 2 minutes.
Okay.
So easily done.
Excellent. And Kim, would you like to give us our grammarian report?
Sure.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. The grammarian report. I'll start in the order of the names I listed on my booklet here, on my notes. Brandy, I'll start with you with one word of the day. Adulation, word that distracts. I got one so, one yeah. You repeated you twice, just kind of, just a repeat. One and two ums. Good word usage that I like, powerful, push yourself, just do it. Take home message, challenging, we lift each other up. Buffy, word that distract, all right. I caught 3 M's, so a couple times, a couple times repeating, just, and then repeating, just, and then he's repeat, and then. I think that's what I wrote anyway. For good word usage, just bring your umbrella, benign, dependable, destructive, all hell's break loose, attitude. Hang on to your hats. Robin, would you repeated I twice, just kind of follow each other well. I think you said, I think you meant to say class, and I heard cloud. I don't know why. I think cloud class. Once, two repeats. I can repeat. Twice, once, and that's all. And fresh perspective, up my game, way more expensive, sage time. I'm comfortable, inspired, perfect, and unique. Justin, you said just 3 times. Let's see. So like encourage, brand new perspective, energy, feedback, applicable. Andrew, I got several ums, one like that was repeating, that was repeating, I that was a couple of repeats there, you and a couple times. Good word usage, good energy, commanded the audience. Yasmin, I got like twice, okay, several times, yeah, a couple times, and let's see. Had my attention, visual, entertaining, predict. Something aged, having a hard time reading my handwritings here with all the notes. Hobby, something with hobbies. grandma thing to do, knitted hats. Sandra? Is that
Sidra?
Cedra.
oh
Sidra.
Cedra? I repeat, once kinda like. I got that. That was, and then good word usage, it was like a TED Talk and impressed. That's the word I like. With that, I turn it back to you, Madam General.
Wow. Well done.
It's a lot of writing when you're a grammarian.
It's a lot of
Takes a lot of listening.
it's a lot of paying attention. Really not listening to the story, paying attention to how the story's delivered, which is very different.
Yes.
And it is wonderful to have, when we have people who do detailed grammarian reports. Some people don't like to do that because they feel like they're being too nitpicky and stuff, but I have found it really helpful. And just so you know, I'm using probably a little more fillers here, but I remember once I had 22 in a minute and a half table topic. And I'm like, how is that even possible? So that I had so few filler words in today's speech. And while I've given this speech a bunch of times, when I did it a couple of weeks ago, it was the first time I had done it in probably a year or more even, and I could not find any notes on it. So I didn't go off of anything when I was delivering it. So it's very impressive to me that I had so few filler words, with this being the second time that I delivered it and having no notes.
Yeah.
Yay!
That stage time makes a difference.
It does.
All right, with that, we will first we will ask our guests, how did you like the meeting? So I'll start with Yasmin, you're at the top of the screen.
I had fun today. I'm excited to join the future meetings and get to learn more and get some more practice in. I was very, very nervous today, so maybe next time I'll be less nervous. But yes, thank you all for having me today.
All right, awesome. If you could drop your contact information in the chat, and Kim Chen is our VP of membership. That's what it is. And so he will be able to connect with you. And Justin Bellis is our VP of education. I am the president. So you can connect with any of us also if you have any questions. And then Andrew, you have been here before, but I think I think you were actually sitting in the audience once or twice when I have been online.
Yes, absolutely. I really enjoy, I mean, the times I've been to the meetings, I've always enjoyed it. I've always gotten something really good out of it. I think it's definitely worth the time, and it's a privilege. I'm learning a lot. I'm becoming more confident. I like to yeah, and I know there's a lot for me to learn still, but I'm just grateful that yeah, that I found this group, and so thanks to all of you for that.
Awesome, thank you. And Cedra?
Yeah, Sidra. Sid, like Sidra. Yeah, but it's okay. Thank you for having me. This is great. I didn't know what to expect. And I enjoyed myself. I'm learning, even just with this first meeting. There was a lot to learn and observe. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. And are you local to Lacey Olympia, or are you?
I am in Olympia, and I work at WashDOT with Yasmin. So yeah, you'll see me again. This was good. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, thank you. And next we will call for rolls. And do you want to write them down?
Sure, I'll write them down.
So and guests can participate in the rolls if you know you're going to be here next week. The timer is a good roll to start with. Joke Master is a good role to start with, and Table Topics Master is also one that guests can do. So anybody know they want to sign up for a role?
I'll do a speech next week.
Kim will do a speech.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. And do we have somebody who would like to be the Toastmaster? We'll hold off on that. Anybody want to be the joke master?
I wanted to evaluate Kim, unless you want to.
Oh, you can.
Okay, Justin will evaluate Kim's speech. Always good to have people volunteering for that.
Joke master? Any of you guys?
I'll do joke master. Why not? Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. I
And
could be Toastmaster again.
Or did
Okay.
you want to evaluate a speech? I can be Toastmaster.
What was that?
Did you want to do evaluate a speech? I can be Toastmaster.
Okay.
Yeah, we can swap.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Buffy?
Uh,
You don't have to.
I'll keep doing timer.
Okay.
That's
All right.
yes. And I may come up with a speech, but I'm not going to make any promises.
Okay.
My kids come into town the same day, so I'm like
Yeah.
feeling distracted.
Okay.
could always have them come.
No, they're coming in at night.
Well, are you going to be here next week?
I don't know.
Okay.
I will sign up if it turns out I'm going to be here. All
Okay.
right. With
Great.
that, I think we will do
We will have a meeting.
we will
Adjourn.
adjourn. Thank you all
you,
for
guys.
coming, and we will see you hopefully next week.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. It was nice
Bye.
meeting you all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes. The least